So I wrote this first poem about this girl that I went to high school with. We were really good friends. And her Facebook status was her freaking out about her boyfriend calling her beautiful. It must be a bitch to date you. Trying to find the right words not to offend your feminist outlook. Because when he told you you looked beautiful, he meant it in the sense where he could never explain beauty to anyone. So he'd hold up a picture of you. He wasn't looking for an argument. He wasn't judging you solely on your appearance or trying to get into your pants. But you're right, just like you always are, and he knows that too. There's never any winning with you. And this is kind of one of my age poems. I wrote it as if I was a teenager now. You've cut me down enough times that I am no longer a tree, but rather a stump, clinging to dear life in the earth that with nothing but my roots. I used to inscribe entire nations will bow to her on the insides of my lungs, so anytime that I'd speak poetry, I truly believe in my worded breaths that they mean something, even to a nation of one. My voice a comparison to orchestras and thunderstorms. But you wouldn't know that, because open mic nights don't keep a score. The only fight is me wrestling with my anxiety and this mic. How every thought before I open up my mouth is, I'm not sure if I can do this. But I do it every time. And I should probably learn to stop second-guessing myself. I have you for that. So this one, I have social anxiety mood disorder, and I don't do well with ending relationships because I'm afraid of how the person's going to think and everything. So I tend to do something stupid like cheat on them or, just go slightly apeshit. But this is the first time I ended a relationship. Without having to go slightly crazy. You laid your hands on me, once. You said it would never happen again. You know I'm a fool for the broken, and you stood there in every broken mirror when you couldn't stand to look yourself in the eyes. You drank, every night. Not just a beer, not just a glass of wine, but 6 to 14 or a 1.5 liter box. I love you turned into. You're not the typical Marine girlfriend, red hair and rolls, and that's why I don't post pictures of us. Well, I hate to tell you that you're not the typical Marine, antisocial, 5'8", Napoleon complex who dated a 47-year-old before me. What I don't get is, if I'm what you're into, then why be ashamed that you love a girl with handfuls? I asked you if you loved me, why you felt the need to rip up everything with my past, because according to you, my mom raised me wrong. That I am a slut for having multiple miscarriages, that I asked to be raped, and because of that I could never date an Italian man. I am sick of making excuses for your sick words. Your skin violently touching my skin. I'm sick of crying myself to sleep when you're the one who's supposed to be consoling me. 5 months, and I finally left you. Told you that you were an angry drunk with no reason to be angry. You were sober for 6 days after we broke up. Told me you were going to AA to get better for yourself and to apologize to me. I saw the pictures of you drunk again on Facebook. I guess I wasn't worth the apology. And this one is about loving somebody through all the stages of your life. You grew up in an apartment above a laundromat. The smell of fresh clothes reminds you of home. I love thinking of you. Reddish hair, absent tooth, cheesy smile, wanting nothing more than to save the world. Your mother raised you on her own, which gave you an appreciation for the strength in women that we so often have troubles in finding in ourselves. You never learned how to ride a bike. One day I'd like to teach you. Pour peroxide on any wounds, but I hope one leaves a scar, because I'll forever be a part of a story marked on your body. You skateboarded around your hometown. Thin frame, long hair. You never been in a fist fight, but you broke a guy's arm. Always stood up for someone with sarcastic smartass remark. I would have been in love with you in high school. Neither of us having the gall to say that we liked each other because words get complicated when spoken. And that's why I'd write your name in black ink in every poetry book I've ever owned. So you'd be there, permanently, with the thoughts that I never had enough courage to say. You couldn't afford college, even with your grades. You joined the Air Force and cut your hair short, saw the world and met amazing friends. I still fell in love with you. Never said a word about it, and neither did you. Until we both started randomly rapping No Diggity. Talked about our musical loves ranging from Biggie to Phog and how you had a 4-bedroom house to yourself. I asked you why you got a house that big. You told me you hoped friends would visit. And I knew then how lonely you'd been, and swore to myself that you'd never feel like that again, that even if we weren't together, that your home would echo with laughter in every corner, that you'd smile at the red wine stain I left on your carpet, that you'd still listen to the multiple mixed CDs, all inscribed Love Me years later. We told a mutual friend that we were going to marry each other before we said we loved one another. Because I have loved every phase of you, the boy playing with action figures, the awkward teenage skater, and the man who brushes my rebellious hair back to repeatedly kiss my cheek. And this is my last poem. And it has a lot of Doctor Who references. Like that. Want to know how I love you? On the night you slept in my bed, I slept empty-headed dreamless because you were next to me. We both laughed uncontrollably over the argument between Daleks and Cybermen because we both knew that Daleks owned that shit verbally and physically. I was the only person to ever show you more than 2 new bands, and you've given me an iPod full. So the times that I just need to escape, I can take the first exit sign to meet my musical soulmate, even an ocean apart. When you ordered your food in Japanese, you felt pretentious. I thought it was beautiful, how your brain translates, how it processes, and God, I wish I could see that masterpiece mind of yours. And on the night of our lacrimosa, it consisted of me teaching about wine, the proper glasses, mundane quotes, and us wrapped around each other in the most comfortable, awkward positions. You fit into me, like our bones were carved from the same block. The way that you talked me out of every nail-biting, I can't be here, I can't do this anxiety moment better than a Xanax ever could. You didn't seem to mind when I was squeezing your knuckles into dust. Our wedding rings would say Time Lord and Companion. I'd wear Converse with my gown and you with your suit. We'd have the most stellar music-filled reception, and then laugh how we'd never find a song for our first dance. The acronyms of our kids would spell out the ice. We laughed about how cruel it would be to have kids together. Red hair, cursed by the sun. I just wanted them to have your nose and eyes. And will look just like you because I swear you're the most beautiful person I've ever seen. The way that your eyes look like the breathlessness of galaxies tucked behind eyelashes that you used to kiss my cheek. How dear was both our favorite Pink Floyd song, Within the Flesh Close Up. How your mom wants Great Gig in the Sky played at her funeral, and the way that you take care of her and love her. Because most people don't give as much as you do and ask nothing in return. And I'd swear to God, and you chose swear to me, that I'd spend the rest of my life making horrible jokes with you, getting your geek on and finding tracks that you've never heard of. Tell me you love me, and I'll say I know. Because that Star Wars reference never gets old like us, 23-year-olds watching cartoons with ice caps in our pajamas. My Time Lord, I'd burn up the sun just to say goodbye to you.